God. God created people. All the people in this room, all the people in China, all the people in America, he created people. Now the reason he created people is that he wanted to have a relationship with us. But we have done bad things, and that relationship is broken. So if you take this whole board, that represents all the people in the world, and they all have a broken relationship with God. But God so much wanted to have that relationship, he created a means by which people could have a restored relationship with God. So as a person comes up and they look at, do I want to have that restored relationship with God? They come to a point and make a decision, yes, I do. And if they do, they step through that door. Those lines are right next to each other. But that sets off a process of becoming like Jesus. Not a set of rules, do this, don't do that, but becoming more like Jesus. Now, three of Jesus' characteristics is he was kind, he was gentle, and he was patient. Many, many more, but let's talk about those three. If you become more kind, gentle, and patient, your behavior will change. Not because there's a rule, and I say, okay, yes, I have to be more patient. I'm going to be more patient. But internally, that changes. Now, would your husband like it if you became more kind, gentle, and patient? Mm-hmm. Would you like it if your husband became more kind, gentle, and patient? Oh, yeah. Well, now both of you become more kind, gentle, and patient. What does it do for your marriage relationship? Okay. So now there's a door here. And there are some couple of qualifications to get through that door. Number one, you have to admit, I've done bad things. Second, I have to accept God's gift to deal with those bad things. Or we could also say, believe, which makes it A, B, C, or commit. Now I have to commit, not to a church, but commit to this process of becoming like Jesus. So as a person comes up, okay, admit, I've done bad things. That's humbling. Secondly, I can't deal with my problems. I can't take care of my issues, so I have to accept what God has done for me. Thirdly, to say, I've got problems. I need to change, and I need to change to become more like Jesus. But there's a door there. If you go into movies, you got to pay money to get through the door. No money, no movie. Well, there's a cost to get through this door also, but it's so huge, you can't pay it, I can't pay it, and God says, right, I will pay it through what Jesus did on the cross. So now as we admit I've done bad things, accept God's payment, and commit to this relationship of becoming like Jesus, that's what it means the Christian life looks like. Now, when you step through from one side to the other, and we just compared that with the marriage, what happens in marriage, God does many, many things. Matter of fact, there's an article that said 33 things God does when one becomes a Christian. And they all have two things in common. One, they're done entirely by God, no human involvement. Number two, they're done instantaneously at that point. Now, two of them that he does. Number one, he pours out his love on us. We become loved people. Imagine two kids at school. One of them comes from a home, two 8-year-old boys. One of them comes from a home where he's told, we just love you so much, you are so special, we are so happy you are a part of our family. The other one comes from a family where they say, you stupid kid, can't you do anything right? I wish we'd never had you. Could you tell the difference between those two children? Yes. Well, you become a Christian and you become a loved person, which just changes your whole affect, your whole way of life. Now, the second thing he does is he adopts you as his child. So what do you call two people that have the same father?
Sibling.
Siblings, brothers, sisters. So you have instant family. A connection that goes beyond understanding. But you see it in people who have that relationship with Jesus, even though they're very different, there is a connection. Now, if you will, God has opened a big bank account of love, and so you write love checks to the family, but you also write love checks to people who are outside the family. Now, the difference when we write checks off our checking account, the balance goes down. Well, in this case, God keeps putting it back faster than we can write the checks. And we become, our bank account, love, becomes greater and greater. So we are now more loved people. Okay. That's the picture of what the Christian life looks like. And from there, now, we can go and talk about the different aspects of it based on sensing, where is this person coming from? What is it that becomes a problem to them? We look at different ways to be able to talk about these issues. Now, admit, that's one that's very interesting, because as Westerners, we always think of a right, wrong, guilty, innocent. Jesus pays a big traffic ticket for us. For the Asians, they think more in terms of shame. Now, the way that the East Asians handle it is very different than the Middle East Asians, i.e. the Arabs. And how do the Arabs handle the shame that one person will bring to the family? Somebody in the family kills them. Honor killings. How do the East Asians handle when somebody has caused shame in the family? They commit suicide, hara-kiri. Which is why even in Chinese high schools and even Chinese grade schools, when the family puts so much pressure on them, sometimes the kids will commit suicide because they think they're shaming their family when they're only getting 96 when the family expects 98 in the grades. So we have to admit that either we have guilt or recognize we have shame. Well, how's that taken care of? Well, we understand very well when we say, okay, Jesus took our sin on the cross and paid the debt. But he also took our shame. Imagine, here you are up on the cross, right on the pathway where people are coming and going. And all the drawings show Jesus as a loincloth, but most likely there was no loincloth. He was hung from the cross, nailed up there, totally naked, for everybody to walk by and make fun of him. That's the shame. So anyway, there is the picture of the Christian faith.
All right.